I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. There's not a lot of things I'm good at in life, and the whole world is split. What side are you on politically? Are you on Trump's side? Or are you on Kamala Harris's side? But sometimes the world is united. Sometimes a movie comes along that is so bad, that is so laughable, that it just makes you feel better about yourself as a human being. This film is so inspiring to me, and it really made me want to talk about this to the point that I had to put on the suit. I'm not wearing any boxer shorts on or any trousers on, but that's not the point.
That's fake news.
This cultural phenomenon, you may ask? Well, of course, it's War of the Worlds with Ice Cube. Now, there's a certain list of filmmakers that should never make movies ever again, which I'll show in the background, and it's safe to say that this chap here has joined the list. Now, I'm a pretty humble guy, but most of the time, I'm right. Objectively, the greatest movie of all time is Dirty Work. However, the So Bad It's Good film site has its own little category of masterpieces. Case in point, the second greatest So Bad It's Good movie of all time is Samurai Cop. And objectively, again, you could have your suggestion in the comments, but you are wrong. I will listen to it, but I'll ignore it. But the best one of all time is Turkish Star Wars, which objectively is the second greatest movie of all time. Usually, with a So Bad It's Good movie, I would just give it the 1 star. But in those cases of Samurai Cop and Turkish Star Wars, it's gotta be 5 stars. Come on. It's Turkish Star Wars. So where does War of the Worlds fit in? This is a film that is so unique in its badness that you don't even have to explain why this is a bad film. If you're going on a date, for example, and you tell her, hey, I watched this really bad movie the other day called War of the Worlds. Now, mind you, she could be a film buff. She could be completely uninterested in you. All you have to do is just show her a picture of Ice Cube looking like... and then she gets the gist of it. This is one of those universally bad movies where, again, there are some secret bad films that will take you a while for you to realize that they're bad. Films that you think are good at first, but then years later you think are pretentious wank, or films that are yet to reveal themselves, like The Enemy. For War of the Worlds, though, it doesn't pull back any punches. In its harsh criticism of the government and its bootlicking of Amazon Prime, it shows the real side. It shows the real guerrilla DIY filmmaking. The director wanted this really just gut punch to show you that he is probably fucking 10 women right now and is rolling in money because we all made the stupid decision to watch this film in the first place, and it's not like someone had a gun to my head to do this. This is the American dream, boys. And we just have to accept that. And what would a bad film be without a very awful protagonist played by Ice Cube? The only reason that he's somewhat likable is just because he's Ice Cube. Because this guy is what we like to call a boomer dad. This is a person whose kids clearly don't talk to him for obvious reasons, because Ice Cube likes to spy on his kids, including putting in cameras in fridges. I mean, he won't talk to them in person, but don't worry, guys. It's okay, because his wife died. It's okay for him to be melancholic like that. Ice Cube delivers an incredibly emotional performance. This is a man who teaches you that you should spy on your kids, because that's okay to do. I mean, after all, if your wife has died, then it's perfectly fine not to talk to your kids, but it is okay to spy on them. After all, if I was dying and I sent a letter to my kids telling them that it was hard being a parent and I love you, I'm gonna send pictures of where I was spying on them, because that's definitely normal. Definitely normal. And he's still a better dad than Jackie Chan. Ice Cube shows that all you need to do to make a lot of money on a movie, all you have to do is just sit in front of a screen and just make weird faces. Case in point, that's a thumbnail. You also have to look very, very confused that aliens are blowing up the city as well, like a Gilbert Gottfried with your squinting eyes,
Fuck you, stupid dark wizard!
I have never truly seen a more captivating performance in quite a while. The last truly captivating performance that I saw, that this reminded me of, was when Burt Reynolds was stuck in his room with a bottle of whiskey on the Universal Soldier films.
Excellent.
because these performances do share a very similar quality. Ice Cube decides not to leave his room ever, so basically he stays in the sanctity of his own room and he gets a fat, massive paycheck. You know what? Sometimes life is not fair, and sometimes I would be very annoyed by this, but it's Ice Cube, so that's okay. But there are some very exhilarating exceptions to the rule, where sometimes you see Ice Cube running through a hallway, which is definitely next to the room that he was just in. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with a low budget. I mean, after all, War of the Worlds is basically a glorified YouTube video, but you know, when you're making a film for Amazon Prime, you have to do a little bit more than just have Ice Cube look in the camera awkwardly with an obvious green screen in the background. And you know when a film is bad when one of the big plot twists is that there's a green screen in the background. Case in point, Ice Cube's son is almost blown up by the aliens, but it turns out that he's doxed his location and the aliens don't know where he is because he's a hacker and has a green screen. It's not real! It's not real! It's very clear that the director was very inspired by Searching, a great movie in 2018, but what I think the director really wanted to do was try and make it bad. And I think he was also trying to make it very unrealistic. Whereas with Searching, you can tell that, yes, these were probably set over Zoom calls and that the footage was actually captured on web cameras, for example. Is Searching a contrived movie? Absolutely. But it works. Here, though, nothing looks realistic at all. Even when people are taking Zoom calls, they're put in very awkward positions where they clearly are not in Zoom calls. Also, very interesting that Ice Cube is just able to get away with mixing his personal social media with his actual work laptop, which would be a breach of data protection. Now, you could see this as being a criticism of the government, but you'd be a fucking idiot to think that, so we're not going to talk about that. Now, look, I'm not going to tell you what the names of these characters are, because you don't care. You really, really don't care. All you need to know is that Ice Cube works for the government, he's a shitty father, and he gets attacked by aliens, and he looks very confused throughout the entire film. But my goodness, the emotion is kicking in, boys. The emotion is kicking in. Turns out that Ice Cube had a wife who passed away. Sorry, technical difficulties, the mic turned off. It turns out that Ice Cube had a wife who passed away recently, and when he hacks into his daughter's Facebook, which is definitely normal, by the way, turns out that she's pregnant, and she didn't even tell Ice Cube. He then hears an audio recording of his wife, and this truly heart-wrenching delivery plays. Listen.
Remember to take out the trash today and be nice to the kids. I love you, baby.
Didn't that just tug at your heartstrings? Didn't that just touch you inside?
Remember to take out the trash today.
A quality you'll find in most so bad it's good movies is when the director is clearly out of touch with what actually is hip or modern nowadays. But War of the Worlds, however, has this very charming quality where basically it feels like it came from 2005. After all, you've got the cheesy hackers online with the deep voices, you have the terrible CGI, which made me happy. I mean, after all, I love bad PS2 graphics as much as the next guy. But War of the Worlds film has another unique quality. This is a movie that not only feels like it was 20 years too late, with the horrible CGI and the very stereotypical portrayal of hackers, it's a film that's also 5 years old as well. Why is this? Well, I recently just read Wikipedia, and it turns out, and I quote, "In September 2020, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Ice Cube joined in the lead role in an untitled film produced by Tim Mear. Fucking read it. Which would be directed by Rich Lee with a screenplay by Kenneth A. Gold for Universal Pictures." This film should have been scrapped, but they still made it anyway. This was supposed to be a COVID pandemic film, and it ended up becoming a propaganda piece for Jeff Bezos. There are different reasons why the Capitol building should have been stormed. This is a perfect example of a film that's so bad it's funny. and I still cannot even recommend it, which is why this film is so tragic in a way. And there's one reason for this. This film is a blatant advertisement for Tesla and Amazon Prime. Now, I don't know about you, but there's nothing more that I hate than promotions in YouTube videos. Nothing more. I would never sell out, obviously, and I think it really hurts me. Now, arguably, the worst example of this is near the end of the movie. Now, I could probably watch the film again to remind myself what exactly happened so I can give a more accurate description, but you don't want to hear that. What you want to hear, however, is that at the end of the movie, they have to use a drone to transport something or another to some military headquarters. Who cares, really? Anywho, this drone is deactivated as it's hit by one of the invading aliens. Now, nearby is a homeless man, and now the characters are texting this drone to beg him, please pick up the drone and turn it around so it can fly back up. They convince him to do this by offering him a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Is this the future H.G. Wells aspired to see? Is this what he wanted, huh? You know, I'm glad to see, though, that Jeff Bezos is such a great hero. But, I think we have a lot to owe this man. I mean, after all, if it wasn't for Amazon Prime, if it wasn't for Amazon workers pissing themselves on a daily basis, oh my God, those darn aliens, there are many theories you could make about War of the Worlds and its meaning. You could see it as being a very toxic relationship that you just want to work and it just doesn't. But I personally see it as a very good friend you have who might be a bit of a narcissist. You love him, he makes you laugh, but sometimes you just want to hit him with a crowbar. This film is truly an enigma. Again, it's got all the right qualities, and then it just lets you down in the end. And unfortunately, this is one of those instances where I would have highly recommended you check it out, but I simply can't do it out of principle, and that is a shame. Don't get me wrong, even if I did like this movie, it still would have been at least 1 star, or maybe 5 stars if I was feeling very generous, but I'm going to give it an intellectual muckerism out of 5.
Remember to take out the trash today.